Ms. Thomas? Diane Thomas? Welcome, Ms. Thomas.
Good evening. Hi, I'm just here tonight to see if we can open a conversation as something that I'm new here. I still split time between Florida and here, but I am moving myself more here permanently. Hopefully in another year, and I'll be here permanently. Something happened in the last 36 hours that allowed me to meet some people that were homeless in this town, and homeless by lack of health. Each one had a health-related illness that was job-related. I own a business in Florida. I have employees in Florida. So I'm always interested in hearing about everybody's town and how things work. And these people didn't have a place to stay, and I said, but it's freezing outside. I said, don't we have a night winter shelter here? I live in Florida, and it never gets this cold in Florida. And as soon as it's going to get somewhere around 40, because our homeless population is off the charts in Florida in the wintertime. People truly up north do everything they can to get a bus ticket to Florida to spend winter in Florida like anybody that has a lot of money. Because you usually will not die on the streets of Florida. You probably will not freeze to death. But on the other side of that, we have extreme weather shelters that open anytime the temperature is going to drop. These are not typically homeless shelters. These are places and churches and buildings that the groups, I guess I'm going to have to call Florida to find out how do they establish these places, because I was shocked to find out we don't have any of that here. I've been everywhere today. I mean, I truly have been everywhere today. I have been to social services. I have been to the police station. I've been to the fire station. Where else did I end up? Oh, I've called CareNet today. I've called Making New Beginnings today. I've called the Father's House today. These are all places that help homeless people get back on their feet. Some haven't called me back yet, but I have gotten the consensus across the board from, I didn't get to talk to anybody at the fire station, nobody came to the door, but I did get to talk to people at the police station. And there isn't any place. The fire station and the police stations running wellness calls on cold nights out on the Greenway and in the forest around here. And I live across the street from the Greenway. I mean, it's a natural hotel out there at night. And I'm not having any problem with it, but come on, we can do better than this. This is cruel. I mean, we have laws not to leave our dogs out like this in some of this extreme weather, at least where I have come from. But I plan on making this my home. I'd like to see a little bit more humanity. Somehow, we have enough empty buildings. There's enough big churches around here. We're not talking about housing them, but from like 6 o'clock at night till daylight. And then they can go back out into the streets. But we're talking about nighttime, give them something hot to drink. I'm not talking about feeding them. I'm not talking about providing a bed even. I'm just talking about a warm room like we're sitting in right now with some dignity. Because the first thing you lose when you get sick and you're making a minimum wage job, it only takes 3 months. I mean, anybody can check the national records. Most of us only have money to last for 3 months. And a minimum wage worker can't last that long. If they get sick and cannot go to work, you have less than 3 months that you're probably going to be evicted. And if you sit there on top of the eviction, you might get it all the way to 3 months. In Florida, I've seen sick people take it all the way to 6 months. Because when they take it into the court system, they make the landlords keep the people. But I just think we're better than this. This is the nicest town I've ever been in my life. This is the friendliest people I've ever met in my life. I have never had so many friends. I've never had so many welcomes. I have groups of people that come from everywhere, and we all get together and have a wonderful time and try to do the right thing. But I think as a town and as Macon County, we're just letting those amongst us that have the least shouldn't have to sleep on the Greenway when it's 20 or 30 degrees outside. And I think that I'd like to ask, how do we open this discussion? Because I'd like somebody to check the records on these very cold nights like that, when people are sleeping out. How many calls do the police have to run? How many calls do the first responders have to call because people are out here going into hypothermia? And you take this cold and you add alcohol to it, and we have something that could be catastrophic on a person's life. And we all know this. You know, one of the churches, before I ever decided to even start living up here, I think it's the Methodist church in town. They went down, they cleaned the Greenway. I don't go to church very often, but I went to church that Sunday because I was so impressed with what the children were doing, raising food, and the cleaning. I was just so impressed with what the church was doing. And I went in, and what they were amazed at when they cleaned the Greenway was how many mattresses they found in the Greenway forest, how many blankets, how many towels. I mean, we have a hotel happening on the Greenway, people, and this is just not right. And I'd love to know how to be part of a conversation to help find some place or make some place that they could come in for the night and sleep when it's really cold. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Just one point that we are trying to get a perception of what the problem really is. And we not making much success in it, but we're working on it.
Put on some jackets and get some hot tea and take a walk on the Greenway on a cold night.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, anybody else get missed for the public session? All right, let's move on.
If I could,
Yes.
could we have your contact information
Yeah.
before you leave?
Yes, sir. Where do I put it? I have to go. I can't stay much longer.
If you'll just tell the clerk, please, ma'am.
Yeah, say that right there.
Mr.
Mr. Mayor, I may have
Uh-huh.
missed it. Did you do the